Give your eyes a rest, and let your mind wander. No screens, just sound and imagination. Let the story begin. Mayun stood at the edge of the grand hall, her heart pounding with a mix of shock and humiliation. The crystal chandeliers reflected the angry whispers of the guests, all eyes fixed on her. Lianju, her fiancé, stood beside Liyua, the girl from a modest background he had claimed he truly loved. You're making a mistake. Mayun's voice trembled, but Lianju's cold gaze didn't waver. I've chosen her, Mayun, he said smoothly, his tone devoid of remorse. I can't marry someone just for appearances. My heart belongs to her. The hall fell silent. Mayun's cheeks burned with embarrassment. Her elegant dress felt suffocating, her golden bracelet suddenly meaningless. She had loved him deeply, and now she was discarded like a broken ornament. Lihua's eyes sparkled with triumph, but there was a hint of sympathy buried beneath her relief. Mayun wanted to scream, to lash out, yet all that escaped was a choked sob. Her dreams of a life with Lianju shattered in an instant. Days later, Mayun's family, desperate to save their pride and secure her future, arranged her marriage to Jay, her distant cousin. Unlike Lianju, Jay was handsome but wheelchair-bound, his calm and gentle demeanor hiding years of personal trauma. You don't have to love me immediately, Jay said softly when they first met, his eyes filled with understanding. I will respect your feelings, no matter what. Mayun studied him, her heart still burning from Lianju's betrayal. Love didn't seem possible with Jay, not yet. The wedding was quiet, far less glamorous than the engagement would have been, but the message was clear. Duty and family expectations came first. Mayun forced a polite smile, bowing to her new husband, yet inwardly she felt cold and detached. Her heart still ached for the man who had rejected her. Jay, sensing her hesitation, simply nodded and said, "We will face this life together, step by step." For now, Mayun only wondered if she could ever open her heart again and whether love could bloom from a marriage founded on duty rather than desire. The days passed slowly in the sprawling Shen family estate. Mayun maintained a distant politeness with Jay, acknowledging his efforts but keeping her emotions tightly locked away. Jay, despite his own limitations, treated her with patience and unwavering kindness. He learned the little things that made her smile, the way she stirred her tea just so, or how she frowned when reading the financial ledgers of the family business. Yet, Mayun's heart remained heavy. She caught herself comparing every gesture to Lianju, his charm, his impulsive warmth. Jay's calm, deliberate ways, though comforting, couldn't replace the passion she had once imagined with her first love. Nights were the hardest. The emptiness in their bedroom mirrored the gap in her heart. Yet, in Jay's gentle presence, a seed of admiration began to sprout. She noticed how he endured his disability with dignity, never complaining, always considering her needs above his own. Slowly, the edges of her bitterness began to soften, though she would never admit it even to herself. One morning, the estate was filled with panic. A telegram arrived, trembling in the hands of a servant. Jay's plane had crashed during a business trip. Mayun's heart froze. She stared at the words as if they could rearrange themselves, unable to believe the life-altering message. The entire household was in chaos, servants wailing, family members frantically calling for updates. She forced herself to move, to act composed, but inside she felt a strange, piercing emptiness. Memories of their few months together, the quiet conversations, his small gestures of care flashed before her eyes. The realization hit like a blade. She had begun to care for Jay more deeply than she expected. Collapsing onto the chaise in the drawing room, she whispered, "No, I can't lose him. I love him." The weight of regret, unspoken words, and newfound affection pressed on her chest. In that moment, everything changed. Mayun's heart had shifted, and the life she thought she had dismissed became the one she could no longer live without. Mayun awoke with a start, drenched in sweat and disoriented. The familiar ornate ceilings of the Shan estate came into focus, but something felt different. Glancing around, she realized the day was not the one she remembered. It was a month after the devastating engagement breakup, and she is now engaged to Jay. A strange mixture of disbelief and relief washed over her. Somehow, fate had given her a second chance. She remembered everything: the heartbreak, the fleeting affection she had finally felt for Jay, and the tragedy that had struck him. Determined, she whispered to herself, I won't make the same mistakes. I'll do things differently this time. I won't let him slip away. Her heart pounded with both fear and hope. For the first time, she felt the full weight of her agency to pursue true love rather than societal expectation. Mayun approached Jay with a newfound warmth. Simple gestures, a gentle smile, a kind word were enough to startle him. He looked at her, puzzled yet touched. Mayun, you're different, he said quietly. Yes, she replied, meeting his gaze. I want to be different. I want to treat you properly, not out of obligation, but because I care. For the first time, Jay felt a spark of hope that their marriage could be more than a formal arrangement. Slowly, she engaged in his world, helping with his rehabilitation exercises, learning the patience needed to navigate his needs, and sharing laughter over small everyday moments. Lianju, observing from afar, noticed a change in Mayun. She no longer sought his attention, no longer seemed impressed by his charm. Confusion and jealousy stirred within him as he saw the once distant Fianki grow closer, emotionally, to Jay. Meanwhile, Mayun's heart beat steadily for Jay alone. For the first time, she embraced the possibility that true love might not be fiery and passionate from the start. It could be gentle, consistent, and unwavering. Mayun deliberately avoided showing interest in Lianju. She no longer laughed at his jokes or sought his attention as before. This shift baffled him. Seeing Mayun's newfound warmth toward Jay made him feel an unfamiliar sting of jealousy. Lianju confronted her in private. Why have you changed, Mayun? Are you interested in Jay now? His voice was tinged with anger and disbelief. Mayun met his gaze calmly. I care about Jay, she said softly, and I won't pretend otherwise. My heart belongs where it belongs. This declaration only fueled Lianju's frustration. He began plotting subtle ways to regain her attention, unaware that she had already decided her path. Meanwhile, Jay noticed Mayun's delicate attention, small touches, shared smiles, and felt a cautious hope. Could she truly love him, despite his disability? As Mayun and Jay spent more time together, their bond deepened. She encouraged him during rehabilitation, offering gentle words and holding his hand when exercises became painful. Slowly, Jay's walls began to crumble. He smiled more, laughed more, and even dared to dream of a future with her. During a quiet evening, Mayun rested her head against his shoulder. I'm not the same person I was, she whispered. I won't let anyone take you from me. Jay's heart raced. He wanted to believe her, but old insecurities and doubts lingered. Could someone as beautiful, intelligent, and determined as Mayun truly love him for who he was, not just out of pity or duty? Meanwhile, Lianju watched them from a distance, his jealousy growing each day. Every tender glance exchanged between Mayun and Jay reminded him of what he had lost and ignited a desire to reclaim her, no matter the cost. Lianju's envy grew unbearable. Every time he saw Mayun laughing or walking beside Jay, a sharp pang pierced his heart. He began appearing unannounced, lingering near the rehabilitation room, trying to provoke reactions. Why are you spending so much time with him? Lianju demanded one afternoon, his voice low but icy. He's incapable. You deserve someone like me. Mayun's eyes met his, steady and unflinching. No, Lianju. I see Jay's heart, his soul. He loves me in ways you never understood. Please stop interfering. His pride wounded, Lianju smirked bitterly. We'll see, Mayun. We'll see if your heart remains with him. Yet deep down, every smile she shared with Jay twisted inside him like a burning flame. Meanwhile, Liyua, the girl Lianju truly loved, noticed a shift. Her long-sought love was slipping away. Watching Lianju's gaze linger on Mayun, she felt a mix of sadness and betrayal. She had devoted years to him, yet now it was Mayun who held his attention effortlessly. Heartbroken, Liyua tried to approach Lianju. Lianju, do you even remember me? She asked, her voice trembling. He barely glanced at her. I care about someone else now, he said flatly, avoiding her eyes. Tears streamed down Lihua's face as she realized her love might be in vain. Mayan's presence had irrevocably altered the course of their lives. The village whispered about the scandal, but only Lihua knew the true depth of her own heartbreak. Meanwhile, Jay, sensing the tension, clutched Mayan's hand tighter. He vowed silently to protect her from Lianju's schemes and to cherish every tender moment she offered. Slowly, seeds of genuine love between Meiyun and Jay began to grow, promising a future that neither envy nor societal expectation could easily shatter. Meiyun could sense Jay's lingering doubts. Even after months of patience, he hesitated to fully trust her intentions, fearing she might only be with him out of obligation or worse, out of a desire to provoke Lianju. One quiet evening, Meiyun led Jay to the sunlit balcony of their estate. I'm not here because of him, she whispered, brushing a loose strand of hair behind his ear. I'm here because I want to be with you. Every moment, every heartbeat I choose you. Jay's eyes glistened with unshed tears. He had been so hurt by the past, so trapped by his own insecurities, that opening up felt like stepping into the unknown. But her gentle touch and unwavering gaze melted the walls he had built. Slowly, he allowed her to guide him through his physical therapy, each step with her by his side reinforcing trust, connection, and growing affection. Days turned into weeks, and their bond deepened. Meiyun stayed by Jay's side during therapy sessions, sometimes massaging his shoulders or helping him practice standing on his own. Each shared smile, each small victory ignited sparks between them. One evening, as a soft rain fell outside, Jay leaned closer while Meiyun read to him. Their hands brushed, fingers entwining, and a shiver of anticipation passed between them. Meiyun, he murmured, voice husky with emotion. I never realized how much I needed you. She blushed, heart racing. And I never realized until now, Jay. I can't imagine my life without you. The room seemed to fade around them, leaving only the warmth of their shared presence. In those tender, intimate moments, love began to bloom fully, not just a bond of duty or obligation, but a passionate, undeniable connection that neither wealth, status, nor past mistakes could diminish. Lihua sat by the window of her modest home, tears streaming silently down her face. She had spent months trying to win Lianju's heart, sacrificing her pride, her time, and even her dignity. Yet now, she could see him gazing at Meiyun with a longing she could never compete with. The realization struck her like a dagger. Lianju's obsession had shifted entirely. Meiyun, the wealthy, confident, and once humiliated woman, had claimed his heart in a way Lihua never could. She had been abandoned despite all her efforts. Her cries echoed in the empty room, her heart breaking in a way that left her trembling and weak. Even her family could not console her. They had long warned her that Lianju was beyond her reach. Lihua's dreams of love and happiness crumbled before her eyes, leaving only a void filled with sorrow and regret. The Lianju family were furious. They summoned Lihua, their disappointment and anger heavy in the air. You are a respectable young woman, yet you seek a man who is beyond your station, they scolded. Lianju is wealthy, powerful, and must marry a woman of his own level. You were never worthy of him. Lihua lowered her gaze, unable to argue. The reality of her situation hit harder now. Even her family believed her unworthy. Her heart ached as she realized she could not fight societal expectations, nor could she reclaim the love that had been lost. Meanwhile, Meiyun, aware of Lihua's suffering but focused on Jay, continued to nurture her bond with him. Jay, patient and loving, noticed the subtle tension but trusted Meiyun completely, his confidence in their love growing stronger each day. Yet outside, Lianju's jealousy festered. Seeing Meiyun thriving with Jay inflamed his pride and obsession. He plotted ways to publicly humiliate Meiyun, testing the boundaries of Jay's patience and love, unaware that his own actions were only drawing Meiyun and Jay closer together. Lianju's pride and jealousy reached a boiling point. Unable to accept that Meiyun had chosen Jay over him, he devised ways to humiliate her publicly. At a grand family gathering, He openly criticized her taste, questioned her loyalty, and hinted at her supposed weakness. The whispers of the elite circles followed, aiming to sting Mayun's confidence. Yet Jae, calm and composed, stood by her side. He gently held her hand, his presence shielding her from Lianju's verbal attacks. Mayun felt a rush of gratitude and affection toward her husband. With Jae's unwavering support, the insults lost their power. Lianju's schemes only highlighted the deep bond between Mayun and Jae, making their love appear unshakable to everyone present. Despite the pressure, Mayun refused to retaliate verbally. Her strategy was simple: love and patience without arrogance and jealousy. With every glance from Jae, her heart soared, and Lianju's attempts to manipulate them seemed futile. Jae couldn't help but feel a twinge of doubt. What if Mayun stayed with him just to provoke Lianju? The thought gnawed at him, making him question the sincerity of her devotion. To prove her love, Mayun took bold steps. She spent hours assisting him with physical therapy, encouraging him through each painful exercise. She laughed at his frustrations, held him when he stumbled, and whispered words of encouragement and love. Each act of care demonstrated her unwavering commitment. Their private moments were filled with warmth and passion, lingering touches, stolen kisses, and the deep understanding that only comes from hearts aligned. Jae's doubts slowly faded, replaced by the undeniable truth: Mayun loved him wholly, not to provoke anyone, but for him alone. The intensity of their connection became palpable. Friends and family watching from afar could sense the genuine bond that neither social standing nor jealousy could break. Love had been tested through trials, humiliation, and doubt, and it had only grown stronger between Mayun and Jae. One afternoon, under the soft sunlight streaming through the large windows, Jae stood unassisted for the first time in years. Mayun's eyes filled with tears of joy. He smiled, a mixture of pride and relief, as she rushed forward to hold him. Their embrace was long, warm, and intimate, each realizing how much they needed the other. The process was slow, and setbacks came, but Mayun's unwavering patience and love became Jae's strength. The golden thread of their bond had healed wounds that went beyond the physical pain from the past, humiliation from Lianju, and the insecurities that once haunted them. Meanwhile, Liyue, who had once believed Lianju's heart was hers to win, struggled to accept reality. She watched helplessly as Lianju's attention shifted entirely to Mayun. Her dreams, built over years of silent devotion, crumbled around her. Every encounter with Lianju now reminded her of the emptiness she felt. She cried alone, grappling with feelings of betrayal and despair. The Li elders, rigid in their expectations, had already condemned her match with Lianju, stating firmly that she could never be the partner of a man of his wealth and status. Lihua's spirit weakened further when she saw Mayun and Jae growing closer, their love blossoming against all odds. Each tender smile between them was a dagger to her heart, yet she could not hate Mayun, only mourn the loss of the love she had longed for. The contrast between her fading hope and Mayun's flourishing happiness highlighted the consequences of misplaced devotion and how destiny had chosen a different path for everyone involved. Lianju finally understood the weight of his mistakes. He had lost Mayun forever, and even Liyue, whose heart he had once believed he could claim, no longer felt any attachment toward him. Every public attempt to humiliate Mayun or provoke jealousy failed miserably. Jae's calm strength and Mayun's unwavering devotion made him untouchable. Alone in his mansion, Lianju reflected on his pride, ambition, and inability to recognize true love. He realized he had been blinded by desire and social expectations, underestimating the power of genuine affection. Each memory of Mayun's smile, now reserved only for Jae, pierced him deeply. Even Liyue, whom he once pursued relentlessly, turned her back without bitterness, leaving Lianju to face the consequences of his choices. He had learned too late that wealth and status could never replace love, trust, and mutual respect. With Lianju's obsession finally dissipated, Mayun and Jae could fully embrace their love. Jae, now walking confidently with Mayun's support, felt a freedom he hadn't known since his accident. Their bond, forged through patience, passion, and mutual care, had grown unbreakable. The couple married in a private, heartfelt ceremony. Mei Yun, radiant in her wedding attire, held Jay's hand tightly, knowing they had both earned this happiness. Jay, equally mesmerized, whispered vows of devotion and love, promising to honor and cherish her forever. In the quiet moments after the celebration, they shared romantic, intimate exchanges that deepened their connection. Their love was no longer tentative or shadowed by fear. It was passionate, tender, and fearless. Life settled into a blissful rhythm, filled with shared laughter, gentle touches, and a growing understanding of each other's hearts. Mei Yun finally experienced the love she had longed for, and Jay felt the joy of being truly seen and cherished. Together, they built a future where desire, trust, and affection intertwined, a love story that would remain unshakable and eternal. If this tale touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe. More stories await, only on Drama Tales.